All right, Grand Risings Conscious Collective, because you are the collective conscious. My name is Marquise Black, and I'm here with my man Xavier today. Now, we leaving Stone Mountain, Georgia. Pretty much, there was a shooting that just took place. I don't know too much information about it, but I'm gonna do an interview with him because he's from the west side of Atlanta, and I'm pretty much doing a collage of interviews pretty much about the gentrification of the west side, gentrification that's taking place on the south side and also the east side as well. And I kind of just want to talk to you, Xavier, a little bit about where you come from and what kind of things you experienced while you was growing up on the west side.
Okay. I'm originally born and raised in Atlanta, which is very rare. 86, Grady baby. I grew up off of Hollywood Road and Bolton Road. We moved from the Fairburn Road area, which would be Zone 9, Adamsville area, moved over to Zone 1 between Hollywood Road, Buck, and Bankhead. And that's where I spent the majority of my life, between Zone 1 and Zone 9. Since a child, man, life on the west side has been crazy. You don't really realize the difference until you see better.
Yeah.
So, like I was about to tell you earlier, when I turned about 11 or 12, my grandmother in Clayton County, she lived in Morrow. Morrow was still predominantly whites. Only blacks that lived down there were people who had money.
Okay.
So when I moved down here, and my first night, literally something as simple as going to sleep. When I was getting ready to go to sleep, it was super quiet. That bothered me. Now, to a normal child, going to sleep peace and quiet is, that's the norm.
Yeah.
But because I grew up on the west side during the 90s, I'm used to hearing noise. I'm used to hearing shots. I'm used to hearing people walking up and down the street. I'm used to hearing people loud, arguing, drunk, bottles crashing, something going on. You know what I mean? And if it's quiet like that, that means something's about to go down.
Yeah.
So when I moved down here, and first night, spent the night, and my grandmother was like, why you can't sleep? I said, because normally if it's this quiet, something's about to happen. And at the time, I didn't see that as disturbing.
Okay.
But at 12, there should be no 12-year-old that so used to
Peace and quiet. That is unusual.
That peace and quiet is unusual. You've never had it and you've never experienced it to the point where you think peace and quiet means trouble. It's crazy, but that's the type of things that went on as a child in the hood. I had several friends that never even made it to C16.
Okay.
I had one of my close friends. He got killed because they were looking for his brother. They killed him first. Then, like a week later, they found his brother chopped up in his own trunk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I graduated, like 6 of my friends that I graduated with died, like immediately. So it's
and
like
how did they die? If you don't mind explaining.
Oh yeah, sure, no problem. It's like it was supposed to be like a small gang, but it's like a little neighborhood gang. No real local threat, no real threats to nobody. It's just, watching out, protecting each other around the hood. And I guess they got caught up with the wrong events, you know what I mean? They wanted to live that lifestyle that they seen these other rappers and artists, talking about on the music. And they screwed somebody over and they got them. They killed all of them. Okay. One by one. They was dropping dead flies. One of them was found in a pet cemetery off of Hollywood Road. They found 2 more dead in an apartment. Someone was dead in their car, like they was killing them off. And see, as a child on the west side, you can talk to any child now. I guarantee you death is something that they not like, it doesn't stun them.
Oblivious to, yeah.
So, you shouldn't really grow up in that. It's like growing up in a jungle. You know what I mean? But you can't help what community you're exposed to and what they put you in. Right now on the west side, all the projects, all the hoods, quote unquote, that used to be there are gone. Like you have, I think the only thing they got left now is Four Seasons.
Yeah. And
that's privately owned, but that's right by a state prison, so that's not even a good example.
So let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
You said that 6 of your friends, they kind of had their own like gang in the community. It's not a real big thing.
Yeah.
Now, with the crime that already existed, you know, during the 1990s in that area, you may have had like people that felt unsafe. So what would you suggest to people like who feel unsafe in their communities and they're not in a gang, but they feel like they can get protection from other people in their community by joining a gang? Do you feel like it's a smart decision based on the environment that you're in, or do you feel like you should just, you know, do your own thing and then stay away from any group activities as possible?
Okay, so here's with that. Everywhere you're gonna need protection. That's anywhere, because it's crazy people no matter where you go.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's a lot of violence in the hoods, like you said. You don't have to join gangs. Gangs give off a false sense of security.
Okay.
They give off a false brotherhood. Because when it boils down to it, and y'all both under heat, and it's either you go to jail and I go to jail, and one of us can get off scot-free, somebody's gonna sing. There's no loyalty. There's no code. It's so many problems that come from not. Okay, so to stop the gangs, you have to create families.
Mm-hmm.
That's the number one issue. Most gang members don't have families at home. They lack the protection, like you said. But all that comes up when you're raised in a family home.
Yeah.
This is the root of the problem. So if a child doesn't feel love and they're not getting the attention at home, then of course they're gonna go join the gang.
Yeah.
Is it the best option? Never is. But they don't have no one at home to tell them that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I was blessed enough to have an aunt who cared and tried to keep me in church as much as possible. And I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to you like I just was the perfect child and I did everything. Hell no. It's been several times I probably should have been dead my damn self. But I listened at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some things, it's a benefit to a child who has that in their corner. Gangs are, like I said, gangs are gonna give you this false sense of protection, false sense of security, because they're gonna make you feel like they love you when your parents don't.
Yeah.
They're gonna make you feel like I got your back, you know what I mean? But you gotta do this for me. And anybody who really loves you and cares about you is never gonna put you in harm's way.
Yeah, most definitely. So do you feel like, you know, the 1990s compared to 2017, is there anything about the West Side that you miss, or anything that we can look back and say, oh, this was good about the West Side that doesn't exist today?
Well, one thing that did exist was a lot more family orchestrated, a lot more togetherness. Not all the way like everybody was super buddy, but I knew I couldn't do stuff in the neighborhood because my neighbor gonna snitch.
Yeah.
Like, my neighbors watch me just like they were my parents.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's no sense of people caring about each other no more. You don't know your neighbors' names. A lot of people don't know their neighbors' name.
Yeah.
Like, they see them walking in and out of the house, but they don't know nothing about them. I knew all my neighbors. Every other house that I used to go to, it used to be somebody had a small garden in the backyard. It was like older people, and they got all the respect. Now on the West Side these days, because there's no, like, there isn't many older people there that get any respect. They don't, because the kids aren't taught to respect. You know what I mean? They aren't taught family. They've never seen family. They've never seen, okay, somebody outside of my mama care about me just like they're my parents.
Right. And you feel like that's lacking today.
That's lacking
on the West
today.
Side. Okay.
Not just even on the West Side, the whole city. It's no love. They're causing problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Love is the key to fix a lot of this, because if I care about you, if I'm empathetic or sympathetic to what you're going through, then I can't be racist, or I can't be in a gang against you, or I can't go rob your house because I care. I can't. You're more likely to fight or commit a crime to a person that you don't know than a person that you go eat dinner with sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A person that you owe your house for Christmas.
So when I ride through the West Side these days, and you know it's 2017, we coming into a new year, and I see a lot of signs that say West Side on the rise, and it's pretty much, you know, just saying that it's building up the West Side to become better looking neighborhoods and more expensive, a lot more expensive than what they used to be.
Right.
So today you'll see a lot of abandoned homes and broken up streets and things like that.
Right.
How do you feel about these areas that have, you know, history from when you were 12 years old and them becoming predominantly better areas? How would you feel about that?
I mean, I'm always for positivity. Anything to promote and help the upbuilding. Here's the problem with what they're doing. They're building the areas back up and making them unaccessible and unaffordable to the people who were here first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So where are these people gonna go now?
Okay. So you're saying that the people are being...
They're being forced out. If you don't already own property on the west side, like my mom, fortunate enough, owns that house. If she didn't own that house, they're gonna buy it from your mortgage company. They're gonna buy your house that you've been paying a mortgage on from your mortgage company because they're gonna offer them all that money up front, and you're gonna have to get out. They're gonna buy all your property out because you don't have the funds to sit over here. Or they're gonna make everything else in the neighborhood so expensive you can't afford to live over here anyway.
Right.
Your property taxes going up, your water bills going up, your light bills going up. Not because anything in the neighborhood, not just because the neighborhood looks better now. It's not the looks. It's okay. It looks better, and you got a Billy and a Becky that stay next door to you now. Whereas now, if you ride through the west side, like from when, especially in the 90s when I grew up, you wouldn't see a white face.
Yeah.
So y'all didn't want to be here, you know. Now all of a sudden, because there's too many blacks in their suburban areas that they don't want to be around us, now they want the city back.
Okay.
And you want to kick families who've been here 20, 30, 40 years, older elderly people who've been here 20, 30, 40 years out and give them no place to go. So I'm all for upbuilding the city, but if you're not upbuilding it and making it better for everyone, only just for a population, you making this good for Buckhead. This is not good for the people who don't live in Buckhead. This isn't good for the people who stay on the south side.
Yeah.
Like, you could have upbuilded the community by putting a grocery store over here.
So let me play devil's advocate real quick, because you know some people probably feel differently about what you're saying. I'm not saying whether I agree or not. I'm just kind of, you know, putting it out there as perspective.
Right.
Now, I definitely understand. You know, the areas, the financial situation in the areas is pretty much changing to a point where there's a lot more white people moving back into the city on the west side than black people. You know, they're kind of being misplaced and things like that. But because of the situation that existed back in the 90s with black people not really doing a good job as a community to take care of their area, do you feel that it's unfair even if the communities weren't being taken care of? Because, you know, some people would feel like, you know, if the community was being taken care of, then you wouldn't have that problem. But
Well,
since there was so much going on, why not make it into something better?
Okay. Here's how you combat that. I grew up, like I said, off of Hollywood Road.
Mm-hmm.
There's never been a grocery store over there. Never. The closest grocery store we had to do was go down South Cobb Drive somewhere. First Walmart that was close to us was East-West Connector. East-West Connector all the way from Hollywood Road. So it's not that the neighborhoods just was bad for no reason. Like you forcing them this way.
Okay.
You put them. The education system is low. The education, if you go, and I learned this personally. Like I said, from the transition from being here, Atlanta, all my life, raised here. Then I moved to Monroe for this year or 2 years, and then I moved back to the West Side. Okay. I learned way more in those 2 years in Monroe education system, Clayton County education system, than I did in APS the years prior.
Yeah.
So when I came back in 7th grade and to APS, I was so far ahead of everybody, it was ridiculous. But we all the same age.
Yeah.
So why are we not? If we all the same age, Georgia state rules as far as your education is all the same, why am I not being taught the same thing? You're going to have that type of mess going on when you don't involve the community. They don't have the knowledge. They don't know about certain programs. People out here struggling, you locking up families. One major issue we had in the 90s was when the Clintons and Rudolph Giuliani started that stop and frisk, more black men and fathers were locked up during that time than ever. So
Yeah.
you destroyed a bunch of homes, and now you want little boys to be raised right with no dad at home.
Right. So you're pretty much saying the lack of education and, you know, the history of racism, I would say, because, you know, stop and frisk pretty much happened to a lot of black people. You're saying that's kind of like what affected the communities and, you know, kind of like a domino effect and made it what it is today.
Exactly. Like, okay, it's like this. Put it this way: you got a healthy family. You got mom, dad, sister, brother. 4 people here. Dad is the head of the household. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's taking care of the family, paying the bills, raising his kids. Okay, I take the dad out. That's taking the main person out. That's taking the head provider out. Now I force this mom to be a dad and a mother.
Right.
A mom cannot be a dad and a mother. I don't care what you say. I don't care how many independent women you have out here. A woman cannot teach a man how to be a man.
Yeah, it's definitely about balance, and if she could, it wouldn't be any men. Period.
Exactly. So they started off with, we're gonna destroy the families. Okay, when I destroy the families, what else do I do now? I need another way to keep them separated. Because, okay, let's say they did drive a wedge between y'all. We can still come back. I got to figure out how to keep y'all separated. Okay,
Right.
So how do I keep this home separated? Government, I'm going to offer you help. I'm going to give you WIC. I'm going to give you food stamps. I'm going to make that man pay you every month for that child. I'm going to make that happen. But he cannot be in your home.
Right, okay. Yeah. A friend of mine, me and a friend was just actually talking about that not too long ago. So overall, you know, before we get into a whole nother conversation, you're pretty much saying, you know, for everybody that's listening, that you're saying you don't really agree with the gentrification of the West Side, pretty much.
Nah, not the way that they're doing it.
Right.
It's a way to revive the community and involve the community.
Right.
You reviving the community and kicking everybody out.
Yeah. And everybody is technically not the problem. People are
Exactly.
products of their environment.
Exactly.
So who is pretty much responsible for, you know, the environment being the way it is? Would you say it's just the city of Atlanta itself? Would you say it's the people? Would you say it's the state government?
I think it's a little bit of everybody. It's a little blame for everybody.
Yeah.
One, just because I'm in a ratchet environment don't mean I have to be ratchet.
Right.
And you can do every little bit helps. So let's say I see the kids next door, or I see my next door neighbor doing some shit. We got this dumbass rule in the hood about no snitching until it hit your home.
Okay.
You know what I mean? No snitching. But why? Why I can't snitch? If it's gonna help that old lady keep somebody from breaking in her house, if it's gonna keep somebody from breaking in and taking something that some family needs, or save somebody's life, or protect somebody's valuable goods that they need, you don't know. You know what I mean? So one thing we gotta do in the community, we gotta step up within the community.
Yeah.
We can't expect the government to do every goddamn thing.
Yeah.
It's not the police job all the time to police. I don't even like the police. I don't really like the police in my area. So to keep the police out of the area, I police my own area. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I do a neighborhood watch. There's nothing wrong with a neighborhood watch.
But don't you feel like, you know, earlier we were talking about gangs.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the history of the gangs like the Crips and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, who started off as the Crips before they put the P on it.
Right.
Though that gang was created to police their environment, to keep, you know, people from breaking into their homes and things like that and protect themselves.
Right.
And then you had the Bloods that came up after the Crips. Well, first, let me say before I even get to that, a false narrative of the Crips was put out pretty much saying that this gang was violent, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, people sit at home and they watch the news and they believe these stories being told about this gang
Mm-hmm.
that one started off positive, and now people are scared of the Crips, the same people that's trying to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
So you get these people that come together and say, okay, well, the Crips trying to do us bad. Let's start a gang called the Bloods, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got these two gangs fighting each other when the initial purpose was to secure the community, protect people, and,
Right.
you know, just make sure it's a better environment. So do you feel like that cycle repeats when people try to put labels on their neighborhood watches and things like that?
I feel like, okay, that's a sensitive subject. Crips and Bloods, I feel like, was tainted a little bit with the drugs and things, but that was a government plot to bring it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything, and you can do your research and check it for yourself, anything positive as far as the black movement that has been started, they've always found a way to taint it, throw something monkey wrench in there to bring it down, to basically Willie Lynch us and make us fight each other.
Right.
So you had the same issue was going on with the Panthers. It's when we set up these organizations, it has to be set up just like our government is supposed to be set up. It has to be checks and balances. So no one person or no one part has more power than the next.
Right.
Because that's when you are having issues. Somebody get the big head, okay, I'm the boss. You need to get rid of them because I feel like they're a threat to my position.
Right.
You know what I mean? So one, we got to get that system of checks and balances together. And I don't think labeling things, you know what I mean? If I label my group, I think it's the actions behind it. You know, if no matter what they say, no matter what they do about, like, let's use Black Lives Matter. They trying their best to destroy Black Lives Matter. They trying their best to say it's a gang, it's spread. At the end of the day, Black Lives Matter is still here because it's a positive movement.
Right.
You always gonna have some extremists in whatever you do, but you stick to the foundation. So if the foundation and the core is okay, set that system of checks and balances up, we would never have a problem.
You feel like that's what needs to pretty much happen in our communities.
In our communities, we gotta. I feel like at this point, we gotta do our own community. We got our own community. We gonna have to start signing these petitions. We gonna have to do stuff we're not used to doing. You know, so let's get a petition together and sign and get 1,000+ signatures, 2,000, 3,000, 10,000.
Before I had left, because police officers are kind of like, some of them, not all of them, that you know, after sitting out there for a long time, you got other protesters that try to bring us food and water, and the police were actually stopping them from bringing us food and water so that we would leave, because, you know, they figured, hey, if they ain't got no water, they ain't finna sit out here all night.
Right.
But let's bring back home real quick. How do you feel about, we already know the West Side is pretty much becoming gentrified, and I realize that it's slowly starting to happen to the East Side as well.
Right.
And I'm with you, you know, always build up the community and things like that, but now prices are increasing.
Right.
Do you feel like low wages is associated with being black, and do you feel like making more money is associated with being white? Because pretty much what I'm saying is, why does it necessarily exclude a black person just because prices go up?
Here's the problem. White people, and I'm not saying white privilege is real. White privilege is real. So, whereas I give an example. I used to work for this company called Future Technologies. Basically, doing the same thing I do, telecommunications. I'm on a tower putting up these cell phone antennas. I worked my way, I bust my ass, and I became a lead because I'm smart. I've never been nobody's dummy, and I've never wanted to be at the bottom.
Yeah.
So, you know, I outshined. Now, the problem came in when y'all hired this white boy. He just started. At the rate that y'all raised me to, he knows at the rate that y'all gave me a raise to get to, and you want me to train him.
Okay. Give me one real quick. I think it stopped recording at like 24 minutes.